initially, the question of whether you can do it or whether is it possible, can a girl do it, those type of questions.
Will you be able to do it is always the question without even seeing your work or without even seeing your experience or your resume. Once I was called for a scooty ad where I just had to precision ride the scooty in a particular manner. I do stunts on bikes. From 1000 cc's to 150 cc's to scramblers to the GP racetrack bike. I gave this person a lot of my bike riding shots. The person comes up to me and tells me, all of this is perfect, but can you ride a scooty?
There was this one silly question. They asked me, what cameras have you shot on? I've shot on film cameras. I've shot on big cameras, Arri, Reds, Sony's, Venice, anything, everything. They asked, will you be able to shoot on a 5D?
Oh my God.
It's Women's Day, and what better way to celebrate it than to honor some indomitable women who are constantly breaking the glass ceiling. In today's episode of Tell Me All, I speak to Hetal, Dedhia, Pooja Gupte, and Sanober, Pardiwalla. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Before we delve more deeper into this conversation, I'd love to know what comes between you and your work, Pooja.
Every stage had its own challenge. Right now, since I'm a new mom, I'm facing this whole thing of, this whole guilt of leaving the baby home. Even though I have an army of people looking, my husband, my in-laws, my parents, 2 nannies, but it's still this whole thing
of course, without a child, oh my God.
It's this whole thing of, can I trust anybody with my baby?
I'll share that with you, I promise.
I was away for a month when he was 1 year old. I was in Europe shooting a film, and I mean,
a mother's guilt is the worst thing to
this
play
is
on.
one day on the set.
Oh my God, I couldn't
stop.
less.
My tears couldn't stop. And my producer is a friend. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know. I'm smiling while my tears are rolling down." So that's why. So,
Overwhelmed with
everything.
I mean, me and my husband share equal responsibility of our child and our household.
And we need more of this.
Yeah.
So see, not every household, if you go to and ask, a man would be equally sharing a child's responsibility. And that is exactly where the psychology needs to change. Because then she has to work 200% more to only be in comparison with the man.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this, Pooja?
Thing is, I always wanted to become a cinematographer. So from the age of 16, I used to assist people and be on the sets. But professionally, I started working in 2009. I started assisting, and in around 2012, I shot my first independent film.
I got my first break when I was very young. In that first break, I had to perform a somersault land. I had to go through those laser beams where Aishwarya is trying to steal a diamond, and this was that first ad that I was doing. And since then, there have been wonderful opportunities.
Yeah. How old were you that time?
I was around 13.
Wow. Hetal, what about you? How did you land your first film?
Started with obviously my father, the legendary man. Yeah,
of course.
Yes.
So been lucky with that also, because not many people get that, people have to fight their way through. Started gaffing maybe 14 years. But before that I was a technician for like many years, 3-4 years, I was quick again. I was a best boy very soon, I think. Karthik calling Karthik or...
So if I had to really go into the details of what does a gaffer do on the sets for everyone who's watching this?
Gaffer is basically a lighting designer. He's going to decide what vision the DOP wants, and he's going to create that with their help or without their help.
So what are some of the challenges that you would face as a gaffer on sets?
Nothing as of now, but initially, the question of whether you can do it or whether is it possible, can a girl do it, those type of questions.
Actually, what Hetal said is very, apt as to you're always thrown the question of, will you be able to do it?
Do it, yeah.
Will you be able to do it is always the question without even seeing your work or without even seeing your experience or your resume or the kind of work that you've done. This is, I like to share this. Once I was called for a scooty ad where I just had to precision ride the scooty in a particular manner. I do stunts on bikes. From 1000 cc's to 150 cc's to scramblers to the GP, racetrack bikes. I gave this person a lot of my bike riding shots, a lot of, like movies I've done, like Doom 2 and Bang Bang. The person comes up to me and tells me, all of this is perfect, but can you ride a scooty? And I'm like, huh?
Silly.
Did you really miss the point here, or did I miss something here?
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, these
Yes.
silly questions do come in, like, you've shot films for 30 days, will you be able to do a 60-day sked? And I'm like, guys, there was this one silly question. They asked me, what cameras have you shot on? I've shot on film cameras, I've shot on big cameras, Arri, Reds, Sony's, Venice, everything. They asked, will you be able to shoot on a 5D?
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, Pooja. Is it true that there are more men cinematographers in the industry in comparison to women?
It is true. I mean, it's anywhere in any field. People have always looked at women as caregivers, homemakers. So choosing any profession which is really out of the box, which is not a 9-to-5 job, is always considered to be, this is one incident I always tell people that, I was shooting in Rajasthan. I was doing shooting with a foreign crew, and I was holding the camera, and there was this one woman with a lot of water pots on her head. She came and said, it feels nice to see women doing this kind of, in her Rajasthani tone, of course, in Hindi. And so I said, what you are holding in this is nothing. You keep your things down, hold the camera and see. So the thing is, women with machine is a new idea for everybody, or women with any technique,
Sanober, if I could talk to you, what you said, you started off really young, you were 13 years old. What are some of the challenges that you faced on the sets?
Sometimes there are dumb people around which kind of make it challenging for you. It's not actually challenging, but they make it mentally challenging for you.
Right.
So you always come across this doubt that, look, we already have a guy who can perform. Now the question is, can you perform? And I'm like, well, you did hire me to do this. You're paying me a bomb to do this. Just when the camera is about to roll and I'm about to jump, you're like, Ruko in the mic in front of 50 people odd on a set. Ruko, are, ye jump aap kar paoge? And I'm like, aren't you supposed to say action? We've done a dry rehearsal of that stunt.
Sure.
And then you question me just on take.
You should have said no.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Your life is at stake, right? So many times when you're doing these stunts, though there are safety gears, you're as cushioned as you can be. But for the kind of things, the life being at stake, do you think stunt women get enough credit in the industry?
Honestly, no. Not even stunt man or a stunt woman gets any credit in the industry. Here, even if an actress or an actor says that they have performed their own stunts, which they may have at a certain level, what also goes into the making of that actor doing their own stunt is a stunt artist has performed it 50 times. To make sure the camera is correct, the actor has done it in one take. But to get that in one take and in that one frame, from the gaffer to the camera to the director to the stunt artist doing it 50 times.
Right.
To make sure that if this actor is doing it, this is exactly how it is done and it is in that safety net.
Right.
It happens at international level. I wasn't surprised when I was nominated for Taurus World Stunt Awards in 2006. This was the jump that I did in the movie Ravan, where I'm jumping off a cliff which is around 200 feet, and I kind of jumped off that through rocks, trees, mountains, branches, finally into the river. That's that beautiful shot. Taurus World Stunt Awards, I think, opened with that stunt, but they never gave credit to the stunt women. I asked them that, shouldn't the award go to me? And the award went to the stunt director. Like, they have a category for stunt directors and stunt women. But in a foreign action film category, they only awarded the stunt director. Nowhere the name was taken as this is the person who actually has done the stunt.
I feel Hetal is going to feel the same with the DPs and the gaffers, because
Yeah,
they work
it's
equally
yes.
hard, and it's always the best cinematographer and not the best gaffer or the best
That's what I was
script.
coming to. I'm sure that is something that you probably share the same
Yeah, they
sentiment.
started recently, like Digital Studio Awards, and like just last year, I think a couple of
But
months
not the
back.
mainstream.
Not the mainstream, no. It's just for the corporate magazine and yeah.
So do you think there's lesser credit when it comes to, a gaffer?
If if there were awards for gaffers, they would have taken it more seriously. But there isn't. But for us, like for somebody like me, recognition is from the DPs I get. When people come and ask for you, when people want to work with you, when they come from other countries and say, they would like to, so that's the recognition actually, I think, now that we are used to.
There's a lot of conversation always about pay disparity in the industry. A lot of female actors talk about it. Is that something that you all experience as well?
As a technician, not so much, I'll be honest. Yes, the growth might be at a different pace. The kind of projects they get after one film and the kind of projects I get offered after one film, or the kind of stagnancy I get, that is the difference I feel.
Yeah, same here. I didn't think we've faced budget disparity. In fact, I charge more than any gaffer does.
Nice.
So,
you go.
Yeah.
What about you, Sanober?
Well, coming to me, I think I am the highest paid stuntwoman, and that has been since day one of my career.
Wow. I'm so glad. It's so refreshing to actually hear you all say that it doesn't exist. Before we go, if I could start with you, Hetal, if you had to say something to the next gaffer or someone who wants to be a gaffer, what would you tell them?
I would say you'll have to get your hands dirty. I mean, a woman who has to come into lighting has to become a technician, has to know electricity, has to know the basics of it, and then go to start lighting, then go onto the set, and then try to know what the director of photography wants or the director wants. Reach that place, it takes years to do so.
So be patient, like
be
given the time to your craft
yes.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
What about you?
I agree with Hetal, you have to be patient, but at the same time, I'll also say a lot of girls give they don't give so much time because they also are under this whole pressure of, they are made to feel that, I'm going to give you 2 more years and then that's it. There has to be more awareness around
and that awareness
around in the society. That is more important.
I think the societal pressure is a lot. One, like you said, you need to have patience in terms of give the craft enough time, right? The second is also nowadays we see around us people are getting famous like this.
Then you get to know on set that somebody has given a less time. Somebody who knows will easily be able to catch who sometimes, some people ask for things that are not, like they're not realistic, It's not possible and not in the time. So when they ask is where you get to know where they're coming from. Too much of prep is not given into our work. Nowadays, definitely very short time for everything. And now post-COVID, the hours have gone for a toss. So 12 hours is no more
a normal time
system.
frame to work.
Now suddenly they want to make it like 16 and 18, and then sometimes it goes to 20. And those are the parameters I think should be taken into consideration more than thinking the paychecks for men and women, or whether more women or more men on the job and everything. We work without breaks. Sometimes it's like, are you working in an army?
I think that's a great point that you brought up, Hetal. I think this definitely warrants another question. The fact that you all are working round the clock. You know what? I also think we want to do everything in one day. We try and cramp up more.
No, we don't know how to say no, I feel sometimes.
Yeah, we just
I
agree.
think we do know how to say no. Everybody comes along and says no, it won't happen.
Exactly.
Like at the moment, I'm really disturbed with these hours because I have seen my lighting team from the day one, from the time I have been a teenager. From that day, if I'm feeling for them, I'm feeling worse for them right now, as well as for myself, as well as everybody on set, to work. What is 18 hours job? What is 20 hours? You don't have turnaround. You take 2 days to recover from it. Whereas you could take another job next day or take another job another day, but you cannot.
But I don't understand this also because, if you're working for 22 hours, you still paying the same amount if you shoot for 2 days.
See, we never had any insurances ever on our set from the day one. Until date, nobody has, okay? So those are the things, forget about expecting, but you should have one. For people like them, if there's no insurance, people sometimes fall, people die, people are injured, their families are ruined, and nobody's there to
And there is nothing. It's just
even for light boys.
something
even
just
life
shoved
boys,
away
and has
it's gone
happened.
away.
And in spite of that, if people are ready to work for 18 hours, I'm really pissed off. I think people should just come around and say no.
And the
And the unions have to come into place. They have to come and stop these things. And they always say that, no, you have to come and complain. But don't they know what is going around? Wouldn't they like go and find out by themselves?
When I had started off around 2009-10, the unions were strong and there were rules followed.
Followed, but not anymore. No more
After
cards.
this-
Not anymore.
8 hours, 12 hours is literally gone for a toss. 9 o'clock shift, 2 o'clock shift, and 2 o'clock midnight shift. Those were shifts made by their bylaws in some unions and film federations. We are not the ones who've made that. But now they're ready to be, okay, haan, jab bhi shoot chalu hoga, to shift tabhi chalu hoga. Which means the actors are controlling everything. So when your actors are going to come, that time our shift should start. Not 9 o'clock, not 2 o'clock.
You're really hoping that this changes. It sounds really exhausting. Yeah, it
It
really
is.
does. But thank you so much, three of you, and good luck with everything you're setting out to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.